Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the club call time. Although, one slight issue with that is we can't actually take calls because
Today.
Ned is not here because he is currently, well, he'll be on his way home now. He is on service of his country. Can't say any more. But what I will say is, anybody who is in the Toffee TV Premier WhatsApp group, you know who you are. If you want to send us a voice note, I will play the voice notes.
I thought you were going to say you'd answer the phone.
No, I won't answer the phone. I'm not answering the phone.
No.
Because it'd be like, hello, am I on?
Yeah.
So if anyone has got a point and they want like a long point and they don't want to leave a comment, send us a voice note.
Yeah.
And I'll play the voice note. Dead easy. You know how to send voice notes. So if anyone wants to send a voice note, then you can happily do that. That's no problem. That is no problem.
Send a voice note.
Yeah, you.
Do we? Let's do it. Let's us.
Bit quiet, isn't it, today? Bit quiet, you know. You've all bought your stones for the stadium.
You have.
You've all dismissed the terrible rumours in certain newspapers. Yeah. The players are coming back from international duty. We're not playing till Monday, so it's just a little bit quiet.
It is. It is. It's just, this is like the worst day, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like from tomorrow we start gearing up.
Yeah.
Sort of towards the Spurs game, and there's obviously games at the weekend, isn't there? And all that. And you can watch Everton under-21s on Friday night on Everton's YouTube channel against Wolves, if you so like. If you're craving a bit of Everton action, 7 o'clock on Friday night, you can watch Everton under-21 side. So there you go. There you go. Mr. Blue Sky says, Baz, are you more confident or less confident of beating Spurs now that Conte is gone? I'll be honest, slightly more, but only marginal. Because I know I've seen the thing of he'd fell out with a couple of players and all that, but I think there would have been more of a reaction. Not saying there won't be a reaction. Tottenham are a good side, and if Tottenham click, then they can, Everton don't do very well against Spurs at Goodison anyway, let's be honest. We haven't beat them since 2012, so it's not like in the league. I know we beat them in the FA Cup. So it's not like we beat them every year and this is going to complicate things. Yeah. But I just think the way he gave them a kicking after Southampton, I think there would have been more of a reaction. Now, obviously the stuff's gone on with Fabio Patrizi or Paratici, or however you say his name, Paratici, and Stialini has been brought into that as well, but he's in charge of them to the end of the season. So I don't know how all of that unrest around Spurs is going to play out yet. I think for Everton, you just got to go out there and do our jobs. But do you think it makes it more difficult that he's gone? Or do you think it would have been more difficult with him, or do you think it doesn't actually make any difference?
I think it would have been more difficult with him because it would have been a bad set of circumstances. Then how would they react after the game? But then if he was the manager, they would have to react in a way that would seem to be positive after the last game. So I think Spurs have got a good side, but they are naturally fragile. Conte actually said himself, the problem with this football club is not the managers, it's the mindset. He said it's just people get away
with Everton's football. He said
people basically get away with, he was saying people just get away with murder at Tottenham. That's what he was basically saying. He was
Did he defo say Tottenham? Obviously it's somehow Everton. It just seems very Everton-like, but carry on.
It does though, doesn't it? There are no standards. He said players get away with the minimum requirements, and he could be saying about Everton. He said the minimum requirements are just not what I expect, and he's a bit of a moaner. Don't get me wrong, but he's that. You can equate to that. It's where's the standard? What are you trying to achieve? He was he basically said, I'm not the first good manager to have failed here. Must there be more? And it's because too many people are comfortable with that football club. Too many people. Why aren't people asking? And again, I can aim this at Everton, so I'm not having a go at Spurs. But people, the conversation now is, Well, look at Harry Kane. He's Tottenham's highest goal scorer, England's highest goal scorer, hasn't won anything. He needs to leave. Whereas if I was at Spurs, I'd be like, why aren't we winning trophies? We've got the number one striker. I know he's not. Haaland's the number one striker, but they've got the number one English striker. Why aren't they winning stuff? Yeah. Why aren't they putting him to good use? Why does he have to move? Why haven't we built a team around him? So I've always said this about Everton when people want to leave Everton, like Lukaku and going, or people coming out and saying they've got ambitions to win something, whether it's Onana or whoever it is. It's like, I want players who say I want to win things. I don't want players who are like, I'm quite comfortable just playing 150 games for Everton and not actually doing anything with that. I want people going,
how do we win?
Build a team around me. When Lukaku spat his dummy out and said, why didn't we buy him in January? I was like, yeah, it's what I want. When there's too much, and I think this is what he was alluding to, and it does go back to Everton, when players go away going, I might have to move to give my ambitions, and go, how dare you say that? It's like, well, what do you want them to say? I'm quite happy not winning trophies at your football club. And Conte's done that, so it's going to be interesting. But yeah, they might come back and play well and think they need to get a result because of what's being said. But I think what he was saying was, you need to do that every single week if you want to be top level in this league. Why have Spurs failed, just like Everton have, by the way, for years and years and years? Why hasn't that level of professionalism and desire been inserted at the very top of the club? And that's the problem we face at Everton, is that we said it. You had a great discussion with John Blaine the other day talking about ambition, and I get where John was talking about, coming in saying, well, he's put his money in. Money is not the key to ambition. It's desire. It's being ruthless. It's saying we've got a plan to win trophies. No, forget about finishing top half. Forget about being in Europe. We've got a plan to win something. We know what we're going to do. Liverpool did it when they sacked Brendan Rodgers. They went and got the best manager available and said, this fella will take us. This fella will take us to winning trophies. So, yeah.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. No, you're right. It's like it was frustrating listening to Ron saying, I might have to leave him and whatever. But Everton had a fella there who put the ball in the net regularly, and then we had some money as well. It's one thing having him with no money, and then you're going, well, we can't really do much. But we did have an opportunity, because when we got the money, there was no... we weren't under any financial restrictions because we had his money. Yeah. And therefore, that was when we should have struck. We should have gone and got players in at that time to support Romelu Lukaku. And who knows if we'd have bought the correct players. Because he come out, didn't he? I do believe he was going to sign that contract. Yeah. But Everton did. Everyone did. Yeah. So if Everton would have, in that January, gone and got players he wanted to get, he wanted us to get. I mean, listen, you can't go to the player and go, who should we buy then?
Yeah. Do you know I mean? But it's
have
not.
Have you seen that message?
Yeah. It's not about that, is it? What it is, it's saying who sets the standards at this football club. Who is actually saying, right, we want to win things. We want to be the best of the best. Who's saying that at the football club? And again, I think that's what Conte was alluding to. Who's putting that out? Who's saying, who's setting the standards at the top of the club? And that's not sacking managers, by the way. That's not saying, because what's the point in sacking managers? We've seen this. We've seen this at our football club, is you sack managers and you keep the same framework in place, so nothing changes. So I think that's what he was saying. It's all about, you can sack the manager after manager after manager, none of it matters. Yeah. You have to want to win trophies. Yeah.
No, it's true. A few people saying Spurs are a posh version of us. Matthew Booth says the Cockney Everton. And he also says, Matty, even though I'm well aware ambition cuts you down, I prefer my players to not have that attitude. The Blues says Spurs had a great team under Poch, but that's gone now. Their defence and goalkeeper report. Flemo, EFC 1878 says, has Baz's wife owned up yet for putting a tracking device in his eye? I think it's more like to be Ned.
Rusty ring.
The rusty ring in my eye. She hasn't owned up. If it was her, she could have done it, I suppose, when I was asleep.
That would be a controversial move, though.
It would be, but, you never know. Ned could have done it through something.
Why would Ned do it, though? What would be
He always likes to know what we're doing, doesn't he? He often will ask, you want to play FIFA?
Do you think he's trying to... You think he thinks he's in the will?
I just think he thinks...
Because you're not in the will.
No, I think he just wants to be where we are. But he knows that you are a little bit harsher with him than I am.
Yeah.
So he tries to... He sends me things like, should we play this or should we... I'm like, mate, I'm watching...
Essentially, if anyone watches Succession, right, I'm Logan Roy, and Ned is one of the kids, right, effectively. That's the relationship with me and Ned. He looks up to me and wants to be me, and walks behind me as often as he can. But I keep him like over there and make sure I tell him to f*** off.
Fair enough. Eugene says the Zone launches bid to broadcast all EFL games. Ped mentioned it before. Yeah. It does. Interesting one. Wellness coach says, who would you drop to get Garner into the team for his forward playing attitude?
Anybody?
Nobody at the moment, mate. Nobody's got to force his way into the team, and that is by training well.
Yeah.
What he has to do, said this about Ellis Sims, what James Garner has to do is make himself the first sub.
Yeah.
So when where Sean Dyche is looking to make some changes, he looks on the bench and goes, Garner's the one I need to bring on. If it's a forward change, it's Ellis Sims is the one I need to bring on. They have to do that. Then once they do that and they then start getting on the pitch, they've then got to put themselves about and show the manager that they're capable of playing in the team. Right now, what Dyche has been able to do is get a formation in place, get a structure in place where the players generally know what they're doing, which is why Everton are, barring Arsenal away, have been quite... even Arsenal for 40 minutes have been quite competitive in most games. And what you can't start doing now is taking people out and going, well, we'll just drop him in. If Everton were 13th and like 11 points clear of the drop, you'd be starting to go, another win or so, and then we can try different people for next season. It ain't the case, is it? It's just not the case. So therefore, he's got to go with what's going to work and get results. James Garner and Ellis Sims, Nathan Patterson's another one, have got to work their plums off in training and force their way into his thinking.
Right, I asked some of our patrons in the
Premier members,
in the group chat, Toffee TV Premier exclusive WhatsApp group chat, for some voice notes. So let's hear the first one from Ben.
Hi guys, I'm very fearful of Tottenham at the moment, especially with the news that Harry Kane can't stop scoring on and off the pitch. Bye-bye.
There you go. I mean, more of a statement
than
a question from Ben. But I'm quite...
Ben's scared about Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's changed in the last week that would make me any more scared of Harry Kane. Harry Kane is a fantastic footballer.
Harry Kane was just doing Harry Kane things.
He was just there going, I'm just going to keep putting the ball in the back of the net up to Everton to try to stop him.
Right, we've had one from Brian as well, so this should be...
This could go on for a while. Brian's great, but it could be about anything.
Hello everyone. Who cares about top? The goalkeeper is bang average. The defence is awful. Midfield is okay. The attack, that's really, really, really good, if you know what I mean. Speaking stuff.
Fair enough.
Number one, Brian sounds like he may be out having a couple of sherbets.
Fair play.
But he also sounded like he was Paul McCartney.
Maybe he was like that as he was recording.
Well, lads, it's
it's
Paul here. It's the original one, not the 1966 one. Everybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to care less.
No, he couldn't care less.
As I said, if you're in the Toffee TV Premier WhatsApp group, feel free to send us a voice note. I like this. This is going to be a new regular feature.
This is all right. Yeah.
I like that.
I just wish it was a bit louder.
Well,
for us, so we could hear it, but it's fair enough. It's fair enough.
So get your voice notes in. Never mind, chat. Get your voice note. Did you see him barking at someone the other day?
He barks at it.
No, it was a player. It was a Portuguese player. He was at the Portuguese, so they invite him to the Portuguese training camp, and he's just having a chat with someone. And the next minute, he's like, and everyone's like,
yeah.
And
it's just part of the berserkness of him, isn't it? Very rich, but fair play. Lozan just says, if you had to choose, would you prefer to go down this season, and Goodison last season is in the Championship, or go down next season with Bramley Murdoch first season?
Who knows when Goodison's last?
First and foremost, Lozan,
let's not go down.
Right, let's not go down. Let's not do that. Yeah, hey, you don't go down. Well, you know, so listen, this is after this season. If Everton, so I don't want to see none of this nonsense with relegation. We're done now. For the next 100 years, please stay away from that relegation nonsense.
Hey, you stay away.
It's pathetic. Just sort it. Just get players who can compete and put them in a team and say, go out there, you, and run around, and we'll be all right. Stop buying players that aren't fit for purpose. Stop messing around with players, giving them $100,000 a week when they don't deserve it. Choose, recruit better, have a plan and stick to it, and you will be nowhere near the relegation zone. You'll be more likely to be pushing for Europe. Yeah. If you get organised and start recruiting better. If you carry on doing what you're doing, you will continue to be where you are. And eventually, if it isn't this season, Everton will drop out. But, Lozenga, let's not put that out there. Yeah. Let's not even consider those things. Let's just stay up.
Let's just hear what Steve Kelly has to say about it himself. I mean, it would help.
It'd help if you played them.
In the volume.
No, yeah, it'd be massive. There you go. Then we could hear Steve. Fair enough. That's Steve in the basement. That's fine. Tom Blue says, gents, do you know what the situation is with choosing our seats for Bramley Murdoch? Me and the lads want to try and get free together, but we currently don't sit next to each other. Do you think that could be sorted? Honestly, Tom, I've no idea at the moment, which is a bit mad, isn't it? Considering you know, in best, you know, sunny day plan, as John Blaine would say, Everton kick off August 24 in their new stadium. Who knows, it might be later than that. But if that is the case, you would think at some stage soon these kind of things would be discussed, wouldn't you? So ideally, yes, you and your mates should be able to try and get 3 seats allocated together, because it's not like you're moving from one stand to the other and they're just saying, that's your seat there, these are the only, you know what I mean? They should be able to say, I want to sit with you in that stand, and then they just go, right, it's row 10 seats, 40 and 41, 40, whatever. So hopefully that will be the situation, and hopefully we'll find out soon, really. Mark Cotton says, evening, gentlemen, just a thank you to you, Ped, for the heads up on classic football shirts, selling the Everton kit with no sponsors on. Picked up a home shirt for £20. Also a thank you to both for keeping us sane in this continuing shitstorm that is being a Toffee. No, Mark, thanks to you for being part of the Premier community. Thank you very much.
I think one arrived in my house this morning, actually. It's not for me, though.
And Everton top with no start.
Yeah. I think it might be the 3rd kit I think my missus has ordered with no sponsor on, so. No,
the yellow.
The white kit. I'm always getting mixed up. Alternative one. Alternative one. Turn up today, so
there you go. Nice. And are we here?
Yeah.
Hey, you.
I'm in the entry.
Hey, you. Kevin Murphy, it's the lights.
Is it dark?
No, I was asking if you got blonde highlights.
Have I got blonde highlights? Are you fucking
strawberry
mad?
Blonde?
No, it's not even the light. It's
strawberry blonde. Pricey says apparently, Chelsea have to record an £87 million profit next season to stay within Premier League's FFP.
Sell Rom, sell Mason Mount,
Loftus-Cheek.
He
doesn't play anyway.
And they'll get it
and
back.
They'll get it, won't they? Yeah.
Ted Bundy will sort that.
He'll sort that out, no problem. Where have I just gone? Mr. Blue Sky says small clubs like Brighton and Brentford run their clubs properly.
Hang on, so can we not call them small clubs while
I think he just means in comparison to the way Everton have historically, I'm giving them the benefits. So there's no reason we can't get our house in order. No, there isn't. You're absolutely right. There's no reason why Everton can't replicate that kind of model. None what's just like zero reason for it, other than not being bright enough to do it or not being strong enough to do it. And they're two quite big reasons.
Not being stubborn enough. At the moment, they're just being stubborn. Simple as that.
GDI says, good evening all. What's been happening in the world of football and Everton? Been spending most of my time in hospital. So trying to catch up. Hopefully you're all right, mate. Wish you well, whatever the issue is. Wish you a speedy recovery. There's not much has been happening with Everton other than being thrown to the wolves.
A couple of meltdowns.
And negative stuff. The border's still here, which is another one. Yeah. Martin Edwards says, watch Baz and John talking about FFP. Excellent. And Baz says situation. Situation. S-I-T. I don't know how many times your ears.
Situation.
Yeah, situation. I mean, Martin's trying to say I don't say situation. I say situation.
Maybe you do say situation.
I don't care what I say. You know, degree and all, very intelligent man. There you go.
When you say things fast, it might...
Exactly. It doesn't really matter, does it? It doesn't really matter. I want Martin to come in. Martin needs to come in so we can put him on video and analyse the way he speaks. I think that's only fair. Martin Edwards, though, is he the former Man United fella? Because if he is, I think he should get involved at Everton and
people
try.
Are very critical, aren't they?
They love it.
No, they don't. Some people, you know, you get people saying this and saying that and saying the other, and you don't realise that it might hurt the feel of the person.
It's not going to hurt, mate. I'll be honest, Martin.
Not me.
I
not
couldn't
you.
care less what you think, to be honest. It couldn't affect me any less.
It's a difficult situation.
Situation. But what I would do if I was Martin is go to the doctors very quickly and get my ears syringed. Because you can't differentiate what people are saying. There's
you were going to bring up another issue.
No, I don't know whether Martin can get erect or not. I don't have no problem. Carla says people... Carla says people say things differently because of their accents. Hardly a big deal. Yeah, Carla, leave him to it. Paul Grimson says, is it viable going forward to have a Wobie who does not score? Well, he does assist. They're not scoring. I'm with you all day, Paul. All day. But he has got 6 assists and he has created more chances than anybody else in Everton's team. And he's up, I think, isn't it only De Bruyne's created more or something like that, apparently.
I can't believe that.
I can't believe that either. But he's had some mad... There is some mad... a stat where he's created. I don't.
People are making things up to justify.
Maybe, but he doesn't score goals. I am with you all day long there, Paulie. So the problem is, what do we do? I wouldn't be giving him. I don't care how much running he does. I don't care. I wouldn't be making his contract better. Put it that way. No problem with him signing an extension on what he's on now. Continue to justify it by doing well. He's had a good year, and he's been here for, this is his 4th season, and he's had a good year in general. It was about this time last year, wasn't it? Newcastle and all that, he really kicked on. But he doesn't score enough goals at the moment. But right now, he's still the person who creates most of the things for Everton. Just right now, he is. Whether people like it or not, he is. But the goal thing is a massive issue. Massive. GDI says, I've been fine, thank you, but sadly my granddad passed away on Monday. Sorry to hear that. I'm a massive blue and he's a red, so at his funeral I'm going to wear a Liverpool tie, seeing as red and blue's a family. Fair play to you. Pricey says, fan base wise, the small on the Brighton.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Mr. Blue Sky says, Iwobi, 1 goal, 6 assists, and a lot of the season he's played right wing. We need him in this team. We do need him in this team at the moment, but I don't say he hasn't played right wing a lot of the season at all.
He's played like 3 games.
It's 3 or 4 games. No, since Dyche's come in, he's gone there. He was central for the rest of the season, and he's played in every game. So we played most of the season as the attacking midfield player. He doesn't score goals. We could put him up front, and he still wouldn't score. It's not in him to score goals. Paul Addison says, I really like Dukes. Thought he was a bit of off the pace during Ramadan last year, especially away to Palace in the FA Cup quarter final. They all were, though, weren't they, to be honest, Paul? They were all way off the pace against Crystal Palace a year ago. They were terrible. The Corey's been excellent since Dyche coming. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Stu Hayler says, "Evening, boys. Assuming we stay up, what do we do in the summer? Can we spend and recruit in preparation for any possible punishment, or will we still need the Prem to approve all our signings?"
How we don't know, do we?
No idea, mate.
We don't know.
No idea.
We're not going to know, are we? Till we hear more. We did a video on it yesterday, actually, on Toffee TV Premier. We just don't. We don't know we don't know what the situation is going to be. So, and don't forget, what we're being punished for is something from like a year or so ago. It's not necessarily. We sold Richarlison. We'll sell. I imagine we'll sell probably someone like Onana in the summer, and we might get ourselves into a position where we can, as long as the punishments aren't don't come in. Where we can, but what we're being punished for isn't like a thing of like what we're doing now. It's what we have done. So it's all up in the air. It's all up in the air. They can put the Anthony Gordon money into the books. That'll obviously help. So we'll see what happens.
Wanderlust says he helps other people score in addition to a vote. No, he does, but he still needs to score goals. If you're one of Everton play with one forward, don't they? And two wingers, right? So if Everton evolved a little bit and went to 4-3-3, say, like they were playing, or even with what they're doing now, 4-5-1, your wide players have to score goals. Your wide players need to be getting 8, 9, 10 goals. That's the way it is. It's why footballers have gone. You should play 4-4-2. Your two strikers, you were looking for 30 goals between them. However that was made up, 215 to 20, and however you make it up. Your wide players still have to score goals. You cannot have a wide player that scores 1 or 2 goals. You can't. And you certainly can't have one who scores 1 or 2 goals and gets £100,000 a week. You can't. Can't be one of your highest earners and doesn't bring goals to the table. I like Alex Iwobi. I think he's been excellent for a year. He seems like a nice lad. He's a hard worker. There you go. He's a hard worker. He does well, but I can't get away from the fact that he does not score enough goals. If Everton had 6 or 7 other goal scorers in the team, then maybe you could go, well, he's just one who doesn't, but he creates a hell of a lot. He is doing really well. He does create chances for us, but to move on and to move away from our current predicament where we're struggling towards the bottom, we need players who can put the ball in the back of the net. And if you're in one of the front, it's like saying your centre-back can't defend. Keeps giving goals away, but he scores 3 or 4 goals at the other end off corners, so he's got to stay in the team. He's not doing what his job is. For me, it's just not good enough. But Iwobi is doing all right. He is. Like I said, if he signed for what his current deal was, I'd say, okay, fair play. But increasing what he's on every week without the output, I just don't think Everton can do that anymore.
Just going back to that story about the zone. So they want the EFL rights, but they want to make every game available to stream.
Yeah,
and end the 3 p.m. blackout.
Good.
So it's more than just a case of trying to get the rights.
It should be as well.
They could change.
There shouldn't be a 3 p.m. blackout. Them days are gone. The days are gone.
I agree. You can watch any game now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Scorgy says, would you take Lukaku next year on loan, assuming we stay up and he's available? Absolutely. He's a goal scorer and probably better than what we'd get. But I don't think he'd come back here, but there you go. Tommy Two Shoes, what a name, says, had the zone in Canada and it was great. They really developed the app. Then they lost the rights and now we're back to square
and they'll have all that
clunky Fubo.
What's good is they'll have all that technology.
Well, I added the zone accounts and they were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant for the football.
Yeah, they'll have all that technology, which is good, and they can push it forward into a new thing. So that's good. They've already got the experience. So, and ultimately, that's what we need. We need something like that.
Yeah.
Do us a favour, pass that lead for us.
What's on?
The lead. Hey, you give some power.
Have the power, lad. Toby Larone says, I think Liverpool ruined what a wide player should be. Difference between their wide players and everyone else's is the way they play. It depends how you define a wide player. Man City have exactly the same. All of Man City's forward players can get 10 to 15 goals, can't they? No one's talking about the creme de la creme at the top. But if you're a wide player, you still have to contribute 5, 6, 7 goals, even if you're not a wide player like Liverpool. Liverpool's wide players, frustratingly, can all seem to get at least 10 each, but more likely 15. City are the same.
Quality, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but when Everton, I've seen Everton win the league. When Everton won the league, Kevin Sheedy, double figures. Trevor Stephen, double figures. If you go forward to, Everton when we had players like Andre Kanchelskis, double figures. Everton's best wide players of all, Richarlison, double figures. Those players who are playing in wide areas have to score goals. If you are a winger in a 4-4-2, I'd still want my 2 wingers to get half a dozen goals each, and then have 2 strikers who got 25, 30 goals between them. Because by doing that, you're giving yourself the opportunity to finish towards the European places. And that surely has to be the aim, doesn't it? Forget about even winning things like the league and getting in the Champions League. To try to get towards the European places, your wide players have to supply goals. Got to. The Blues says, I imagine if Onana leaves in the summer, Iwobi will go back to the left of a midfield 3 where he was brilliant till he got moved to the right of a midfield. Was he
brilliant, though? Was he brilliant, really?
We might just say he was better.
Are our expectations that low that we think Iwobi was being brilliant at any time? I honestly, I'm going to be horrible, but we don't half rank some shy players as being really, really good just because they're better than our other players. Iwobi was not brilliant at centre midfield, and he's not brilliant at right midfield.
He was decent.
Well, the midfield has gone up a notch since he hasn't been in it.
No, it has.
So Iwobi isn't. I'd happily see Iwobi go. I don't think he's a particularly very good player. I'll be honest. I've never thought he was a good player. He's posted some decent numbers for us. They're not decent, I don't think, in the terms of a player you buy for that much money. I think he's bang average. And I think just because he runs round a little bit more than he used to, suddenly we put him on a pedestal. No, I think we've forgotten what a good player looks like at Everton. I really do.
There is that.
I really do.
TJ Mid says Iwobi is still crap. The whole team's got worse. And Nick Carr says Iwobi simply has never been brilliant.
Yeah, he hasn't. There's a myth of just because players play better than they did before, that they're suddenly good. He might have done all right in midfield and he might have been creative, but he still didn't score goals. I think he's just an average footballer for me. And I think we just put players on pedestals that they don't deserve to be on.
Okay. Right, hey you. Liam says, if we can get him, would you look at Gyökeres from Coventry? We've been linked a lot and looks good, but can he cut it?
Does he look
Dom can't continue as our number 9.
He's not.
He's good at running with the ball. I don't know whether he'd be able. I don't know how. Listen, he could quite easily come in and do well for Everton. I don't know. He's 25, isn't he? I know he scored for Sweden the other night. He looks like a player who. I'll tell you what, I'd have him if he was like an option off the left, something like that, where. I don't know whether he can play there, by the way, because he plays through the middle, but someone who can pick the ball. He's a hard worker. Someone who can pick the ball up and run with it. I don't think he could play as Everton's number 9 because he drops too deep. If you go and watch him for Coventry, he drops so deep to pick the ball up, and that's when his strength is running at people. I don't know whether we would have a number 9 like that, you see.
Certainly wouldn't under this man.
No, he'd have to play in like the Corey's position to be central.
Aren't we doing that thing again?
No, I'm not saying we will get him.
But aren't we doing that thing again where what we actually need? We've been linked with a player and now we're trying to force him into the team. Why do we always do this?
That's me though. That's not what
I'm saying. But he's not a number 9. He's not a number 9. He's not a number 9 for Sean Dyche. He's not a number 9 for Everton. There'd be someone before saying, where does James kind of sits on the bench. Does not fit into this team. Iwobi does not fit into this midfield. Iwobi does not get back into a midfield if Onana comes out of it, because Onana's is number 6, physically strong. Where would Iwobi fit in? We do this all the time as Everton fans. We get linked with a player, and then we get fascinated with them, and then we ended up buying them. And it's like, this is why we need more intelligent people working at the football club who understand what we need, how we play, and not to go out and buy that kid's he's a number 10. He's not a centre forward.
He's a 10. That's what I'm saying. You could play. I'm just wondering if he could play in like if Everton probably wouldn't play like this now anyway. But if Everton played a 4-3-3 off the left, because he does remind me a little bit of Richie of running
or
with the
going by
ball.
someone who's got pace and plays off the left. Wouldn't that be more of a plan?
But the reason why I'm saying him is because he's got a good goal record. So he's already.
Has he?
He's got 19. Has he got 19 now?
Plays for Coventry in the Championship and he's 25.
No.
Do you know if he played?
Listen,
No, but if he played in South America, what would you say?
Yeah, no, we'd be
Exactly, yeah.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying there's better. There's loads of players throughout Europe. If Everton could go and get younger ones who score goals. I was just asked about him. I'm just talking about him. We'll see. J1878 says realistically, over the last 12 to 18 months, the bar has been very low. I don't reckon it's been difficult for someone to stand out. Rondon the Legend says, well said, Ped overrated. Iwobi. Sophie Gallagher says, agree with Ped.
But I don't think Iwobi...
Don't rate Iwobi at all.
But I also don't think Iwobi does stand out in our team. I think he's just got... Match by match, he's just as average as everyone else. He's just got good numbers on the assist. I don't ever look at a game and go, oh my God, Iwobi, God, he ran that show, he ran that game. Look at how many chances created. A lot of games just pass him by. I mean, the only thing I can remember he did in the Chelsea game is give the ball away for their second goal. That's the only thing I'd remember him for in that game.
Saul says, no wrong, Iwobi is good in midfield. Worth remembering, Salah was crap at Chelsea and any current world-class player would struggle to play well in this poor Everton side. Give the guy some credit.
So now you're comparing Iwobi to Salah?
You can't compare. No. I think Mo Salah could come into Everton and totally and utterly stand out like that sore thumb and would score goals.
I just
that's all I'm saying.
I just think we over-egg.
No, we do. Listen, we will. You know why we will? Because we've got so little.
Yeah, that's fine.
If we had a team that was blessed with ability and goals, then people's judgments would be a little bit calmer. People would go, you know what? He's not actually good enough for what we need. People have got less and less and less and less. There's nothing wrong with liking a player.
No, there's nothing wrong with liking a player.
But when you measure it properly and go, is he actually good enough at the end of the day for what Everton need? If you want to, what I would say, this is the only thing I would say, right, is that if all these players are as good as people say they are, why are Everton near the bottom of the league?
Exactly.
So that there is something in that. We have to look at that and go, no, there's a framework in this Everton side that isn't bad. And if you added goals in certain areas, this team would be capable of challenging higher up the league easily. But the players who are occupying the forward area, like Dwight McNeil's done well under Dyche. He has. Would I replace Dwight McNeil if I could tomorrow with someone who could get me 10 goals, 100? I wouldn't even have to think about it. Striker. We need a centre forward who can get goals. We haven't got one straight away. Alex Iwobi, I like him. He's done well for the year. Would I replace him tomorrow with someone who plays off the right who could get 8-9 goals? 100%. 100%.
There's two different conversations here, right, isn't there? There's two different conversations. There's one conversation when you're talking about these players is like the way So take Dwight McNeil, right? I think Dwight McNeil is bang average footballer. I would never have signed him I wouldn't have signed him with somebody else's money, right? Would never have gone near him. He's never done anything in the Premier League. I don't think he's anywhere near good enough for Everton. Do I think he's the best option on left midfield for Everton? Yes, I do. Right? So they're two different conversations. We can have a conversation and say, where should Iwobi play? Well, is there anyone better for the right-hand side? No. So he should be in the team. The question, that's a different conversation, isn't it, to what do we do with Iwobi with a new contract? That's a completely different conversation. I think you have to separate the two things at times. Yeah. And that's where I think you can be caught up when people have good games or people do something and go, see, I told you. Like, Everton have got a conversation to be had with left back, haven't they? Is Michalenko our best left back? Well, yeah, he probably is our best left back because he is a left back. You know, Godfrey isn't a left back. Should he be playing there? I don't know. He should be playing. What I do know is we need a new left back. I know that for an absolute fact. In the summer, we need a new left back. The same way we need a new centre forward, and we need a new centre midfielder, and we need a new right winger, we need a new left winger. We need all those things. Whether we get them, that's a different thing. So you can have different conversations. Iwobi, he's fine.
have to improve, don't we?
No, should he be starting games? Yes. Because who else will play there? And it's the same with Dwight McNeil. Who played left midfield if it wasn't for Dwight McNeil? Nobody. That's down to us buying bad players. Bad players. But they are two different conversations. And I think people have to recognise that.
Keith Hall says, good evening, lads. Do you think this club will ever stop burying its head in the sand? Siege mentality, the way it thinks? Or will that only come with a new board or owner? I think, me personally, I think that'll only change with a new board. I think this one, for whatever reason, thinks that riding it out is the best way to go, and saying nothing. We see it with a lot of the club's behaviour. So I think that only changes if they change. I can't see them all of a sudden doing things in a different way. I just can't.
No, we as a football club can't. I can't sit here now saying everything's going to be okay while these people are at our football club. Nothing will change in our football club till these people leave, because the default setting of these people is self-preservation, which means doing things that are contrary to what
the situation
requires. And that's on everything, though. Everton won't tell us when the stadium's going to be finished. Why? Because they're terrified of their own fans. They're terrified of fans going, you said you'd be. But the thing is, Everton never said when they let people fill the space, and the narrative built that next season is our last season at Goodison, which, when you look at it, was never the case. But they didn't have the bottle to come out, so they've let it go on and on and on and on, and people get angry now. I've seen it now with so many things with these Stones. People saying, you told us the Stones at Goodison would be moving. Now, what they might have said was, it might have always been in the paperwork that they weren't, but they let people believe that instead of saying, no, these are staying forever. Because people might have said, well, we're not going to buy one then because we're moving. And this is what Everton continually do. They let situations build and build and build and build because they don't say nothing, to the point where the fans get angry. And then people like this fella who's writing stuff in the Mail, he can write all that stuff because who's putting him right on it? Why aren't Everton?
I think the club do put it,
but they don't publicly though. They leak stuff to people like to other journalists for those journalists to put it right instead of coming out.
I think Everton have spoke to him.
But what's the point in speaking? Come out and say it. The same way they should have come out last week and said, what got said on TalkSport is an absolute disgrace. And as a football club, we will not have that. Simon Jordan is not welcome at our football club anytime soon. But they don't. They get someone to go behind and go, tell him he can't say that. Or come out.
There's no leaders there.
No, there's no leadership. Self-preservation. Bill Kenwright thinks that he knows how to do things, and he doesn't. He's never known how to do things. The man's a dinosaur. We are where we are because of him. Because he failed to get a stadium in his tenure as Everton chairman and owner. We are now in a situation where this stadium is actually 25 years too late. We are literally throwing everything at it, hoping that we are kept up, hoping that we don't get sanctioned, which could be points or a transfer embargo. And we are holding on it because Goodison Park, whether people like it or not, has been dragging us down for 25 years. We can't compete
financially.
Well, yeah, we can see that it is. I mean, you've got to be real on this. People might love Goodison Park, but it offers,
I do love it.
It offers no value in the modern game.
Not for the way the game is. No, as a state, sitting down in the ground watching us play football. No issue.
But the thing is, though,
the post of the issue.
Stop trying to be nice.
No, I'm not. I'm saying I love my seat at Goodison. I love Goodison, but I also understand it's doing us no favours and hasn't done for a number. When Southampton were getting much more revenue than us, despite having a smaller capacity and being Southampton. But the thing is, right? The thing is with modern football is nobody likes it, but we're in it.
And if you want to take a step out of it, then fine, let's go to the Championship and see how we fare there. But we don't. We, as fans, demand signings every summer. We ask questions of why we're not buying players. But we've got to a point now where we can't buy players. We sell players. We've got a new stadium coming, and that's great. But it is 25 years because we have not competed. David Moyes kept our head above water. Sky paid the bills. Let's get it right.
Yeah.
And the stadium is dragging us under. I mean, again, Goodison Park, we all love it. But the inability to get away from it is why we are where we are, because we demand success. So John Moore said it. We demand success as fans, but you can't get success if your football club isn't getting money, and you get money through your stadium and the things that come off that. And that's why we are where we are. We've thrown money at the situation because someone else's money. In the modern era, your owner's money is not supposed to be the catalyst. It's supposed to be the money you bring in. We mightn't like those rules, but we signed up to them. We're a Premier League club. We're a shareholder in the Premier League. We've been there since day one. We failed as a football club. He failed. And we are where we are because of him. And all Farhad Moshiri has done is throw more wood on the fire. And that's why we are where we are.
Yeah, fair to you.
People don't like to hear it because they love Goodison Park. Yeah. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I am cold to that situation because we've been sitting in Goodison for so long. And it is a great place and we all love it. And it's got all our memories in it. But on the flip side, it doesn't have any money. It doesn't give us anything in the modern era, sadly, and that's just the truth. That it's sad. That is the truth.
Fair dues. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you. Really helps the channel. Toby Lerone says, since Baz recommended Brennan Johnson years ago, I'll always listen to his scouting tips. Imagine Baz on the scouting team. He'd have saved us tens of millions. I think I'd have to piff personally as on our scouting team. I think he would have saved us a lot. But the problem is, what's really, really frustrating about it, with the whole thing, is that I don't profess to be a top scout. I just can recognise a good player at times, and I think, and I understand basic finances of, like, if we go and get this fella who is a little bit of a risk but way cheaper but has the physical attributes to play football, I can see a player when I look at one and go, he's a player, he's not so much. Why can't the people who've got all the software, all the technology, do exactly the same and are paid to do it?
Because they're stopped, aren't they? They're stopped from doing. You have to have that, like a. You have to have a framework for how your football club's going to work, and you don't accept the randomness of how we have bought players. Just grabbing at players, or he might fit our solution for that. And it's like, you need a framework, and because we don't stick to a framework, and our owner is like, we'll go and buy this player because, and it's like, we've done it with our managers. The two managers for after Lampard were Bielsa or Sean Dyche. They are opposite ends of the spectrum.
It is crazy.
So how on earth can you expect to have a system in place for recruitment if your two managers are down, one's down there and one's down there, and the fella they're coming in from is completely other fella, and he was a completely different fella from the fella who had before him? There's no framework in place. So if you're a scout at Everton, found you this player. Oh, he might be good. When do you think we might get him? Maybe in the summer? Oh, I don't know, because we might have a different manager. But
it is crazy.
The whole thing's nuts.
It's crazy. Martin says, I'm in the middle of ordering a brick for my late dad in the new stadium for £65. Does anyone else get them? We've got one, Martin. Nice idea for your dad. Yeah. At least he'll be there. His name will be there, won't it? So, yeah, we've got one. Liam says, Iwobi has never been amazing. Let's have that right. He's done well for a year or so and has a great attitude, but it's not good enough. I'd 100% replace him, Maupay McNeil. I'd 100% replace him. Maupay McNeil, no chance. You wouldn't? Oh, sorry, you'd get rid of both. Sorry, yeah. Listen, players, there's lots of players who we could get who will improve Everton. Right, I like Alex Iwobi I like the way he's improved. I do like it, and he's got something. Definitely creates opportunities. The goal thing will always be an issue for me. Always, we can't bemoan. We've got a team with no goals in it, but let someone off because he might create some chances. How about getting a fella who creates chances and scores goals as well? Because there's enough out there. There's loads out there, loads and loads and loads. There's what you do with footballers is, particularly with the Premier League, is you'd have to almost go attributes first. So you have to almost look and go, right, are they physically up for it? Well, Alex Iwobi's physically capable of playing in the Premier League. Is he quick enough? Yeah, right. So there's your two markers. Great. Now, can he score? Has he got a record of putting the ball in the back of the net? If that record then says no, you go, right, I'm on to my next fella, and you move away from that. That's surely.
What else is there, though?
No, but
Everton
haven't done that.
I'm agreeing with you, but
Everton haven't done that.
What else is there?
Because we bought Dwight this year, I'm not having a go with Dwight McNeil because he's another one. Since Dwight's coming, has been very good, right, for compared to what we saw previously. But Dwight McNeil's record of scoring goals was horrific. So that should have just been the full.
But then what are the parameters to buy players then? You know, we've seen this. We've been through the whole Moneyball era. We understand now what.
But the parameters should be: is he quick?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Has he got pace?
What are the parameters now?
Does he put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis? Yes or no?
How do stats compare to players of a similar kind?
Should be age. Does he put the ball in the net? And then we have yes, right, okay, so can he run? Yes. Oh, we go to the next box then. Is he physically capable? Yes. Right? And then the next can be contract, whatever. But that should filter you to a certain amount of footballers.
Yeah.
And then you should go, right, we've got this lad, okay, will it equate scoring? You know, Terry Moffey, I've been banging on. Me and Andy have done a video on him, whatever it was, a year, 2 years ago, whatever it was, right? Does that lad score goals? Yes. Right? Is he physically strong? Yes. Is he quick? He's not slow, right? He's not a 100-metre sprinter, but he's quick, he's strong, right? Does that equate then into the Premier League? So if he gets 20 goals in France, does that equate to 12 to 15 in the Premier League? Yeah, probably. Right? Then we go and try and get him, right? Because he's got the attributes. Yeah. You can't just go, this fella got 8 goals in the Premier League. Okay, is he big and strong? No. Can he run? Not really. Has he got a trick? Not really.
Is his name Mopa?
Exactly. You know, will we face a fight to get him off a team?
Yeah.
Who own him? No.
How do his stats compare to the current number 9?
Hang on. Our current number 9's played about 11 minutes and has got the same amount of goals. In fact, he would have one more if the one at Old Trafford, if the Marty Gray wouldn't have been a midgie's cock-off side.
Ultimately, though, all it should come down to is those numbers. There shouldn't be anything else.
Have people forgot that? Like the idea of football to score goals? Because it seems to me that they have. It seems to me that there's a lot of... I'm not just talking about people who are watching and people talk. I'm talking about people at Everton and people in football. The idea is to score goals. You literally should have a team with lads who can put the ball in the net.
I always, when I do like my player ratings and stuff, and I'm looking at the different players, and I'm looking at, when I looked at like certain players, like whether it be Anthony Gordon or Dwight McNeil, and you're going, did they work hard? Yes. Are they supposed to work hard? Yes.
Yeah.
But as a creative player, did they create anything or score any goals? And if the answer is no, then they're not getting a good rating. Because ultimately they haven't done their job. Their job is to score goals or create goals. That's what a creative player does. Again, we've as Evertonians, we've been brainwashed into thinking that all players have to do is run. I think Iwobi said in an interview this week, and it's like, as long as you work hard. It's like, no,
Everton fans don't care as long as you work hard.
No, but we do.
No, we do care, mate. We care quite well. I do. I care quite a lot. There's another interesting one, Sir Howard Kendall. Do you guys rate Godfrey? I personally think he's very poor footballer. He has pace, that's about it. I think Ben Godfrey's got some good attributes. Is he a left back? No. Am I convinced he's a centre back? Not sure. I think positionally he's all over the place. I think there's something in there that you could hone into being a good player. But right now, you're looking at him and going, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think he's an athlete. He's not a footballer as such. I mean, he's got so many rough edges that he needs to. He's terrible in the air.
He shouldn't be though for his size and his physicality.
But that's because as a footballer he's being used and he's been trained to use his pace to get him out of trouble. And he's been the elements again. It comes down to these are all the things you talk about. Coaching a player. Have you made a play? Has Ben Godfrey become a better player since he signed for Everton?
No.
The answer's no, because nobody's took time to coach him.
Remember when we bought him and we spoke to Jack, who's at Norwich, and he was like, he's a great athlete, he's dead quick, he's lightning, he's strong. He went, positionally though, defence, he's all over the place, so hopefully he'll sort that out. But that was 3 years ago nearly. Everton haven't sorted Ben Godfrey's position a lot. As a centre-back, he's all over the place.
No one's coaching.
Can he go 1v1 and compete? Absolutely. And he can do, in general, he can do a really good job there. Okay, he went to sleep a little bit at Chelsea for the penalty. Okay, made one mistake, we were punished. Okay, fair enough, right? But he done, in general, a decent job. Okay, because he's good 1v1, as in he's trying to get past them with your pace. He ain't doing it. He's physically strong, you're not doing it. You can beat him in the air because either his timing's not right, which is why he's not very good in the air. Because there's no other. He's like 6'1". He should be able to jump and challenge for the ball. So he's got some bits to his game that you could hone. But someone needs to decide what he is. And if he's a centre back and that's it, then you have to coach him where he is.
You've got another Mason Allgate on your hands if you don't get hold of him.
He just becomes a utility player who's. Whatever potential he had starts to wane, and then you just go, can you just fill in for us there? That's not. Don't forget, he was in the England squad a few years ago. Yeah. Now, no one would even speak about him playing for England. That's a bit harsh. Brian says, Baz, I'm sure the club did those metrics, but those requirements put them out of our price range. Brian, you'll probably know exactly what player I'm going to mention now as an example of not doing those metrics. Right, Ibrahim Sangari played for Toulouse. Everton inquired about him. 7.8 million was what they got told he could have him for, and Everton didn't want to take the gamble because he wasn't technically good enough. Yet we went, and I don't mind Abdoulaye Doucouré. I think he's been very good of late. We paid 20 million then for Doucouré. Right, what Everton really should have done was got Doucouré and Sangari. Sangari's 6'3", 6'4". 7.8 million wasn't out of Everton's price range. Everton were offered Rasmus Højlund for 3.6 million in the January transfer window. He carried on scoring goals till the end of the season. Atlanta ended up paying 17 million euros for him. He's just played 2 games for Denmark and scored 5 goals across the weekend. He scored goals for Atlanta this season. There are players out there for money that Everton could afford comfortably with those metrics. You're right, once you leave them to, like Everton to go and get Rasmus Højlund now would be 40 million. You're right, that's out of our price bracket now.
But also though, you just said our finances are where they are because we didn't go and scout players, because we did go and buy £45 million midfielders. When we did go and buy £30 million midfielders, when there was better options out there. That's the reason our finances are in the toilet, is because we didn't do the hard work. We didn't go looking for these players. So it's they're out of our price range because we created a scenario where we had no money because we didn't do the work.
But even so, you're right. You're absolutely right. But even so, do we always want to? Should we always have been going after those 30? They haven't proved anything. Like Onana, we keep saying we could have had them in Germany. Why don't we know about them? Why didn't we see that? How come these clubs are seeing him in France? Or how come German clubs seeing Moussa Diaby and took a gamble on him? He's now worth 75 million. Again, another player Everton could have had for 25 million. You know, Leon Bailey, who's got better for Villa lately, and he will do because he's got the attributes. But Everton looked at him half a dozen times and wouldn't pull the trigger on him. There is a lot of players. The Blues has just mentioned it there. You know, Garassi in the summer, 6'3", centre forward, cheaper than Maupai. Went and go on strike as such, but his club give him a few days off because it was all lined up. It was all lined up for him to join Everton. Now, okay, Frank Lampard, I don't know, but might have changed, might have pulled the plug on that one. I don't know. But he was a better option than Neil Maupay because he was more physically like Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, he hasn't gone to Germany and got 1-in-1 and been amazing and 100% strike rate. But what he would have done was come in for Dom, being a physical battering ram, and would have got on the end of things for Everton, and you would have seen like a structure that Everton would play to. So it wouldn't have been lurching from knocking it a bit more direct to put Maupay in knocking it direct, and it comes back because he can't do the job. You know, and there's been evidence of that for years at Everton, and I don't know how you grab hold of it and go, no, this is what we do now.
You have to start again, don't you? Sadly.
John Shaw says, do Everton have the money for Jack Harrison? Don't know. But you know what? Jack Harrison would improve Everton, ironically. Because he's a hard worker. He does have a habit of scoring goals and get loads. That's why he's not commanding a place at Leeds all the time. But, you know, Sinister is one. Now, I know he hasn't exactly been amazing for Leeds this season, but Everton had a look at him or offered him and could have got him for less than the 20 million Leeds were played for him, because they could have gone in earlier and got him. Mohamed Kudus, Everton could have got him if they'd have moved a week earlier.
Yeah.
You know, they waited. United went in for Anthony. That went. Got no chance of getting Kudus now. He's going to go to a top club. These players are here. These metrics are there. We can't compete at other stuff, but don't know. I think it has to change, like you just said, because if it doesn't, we are going to end up getting relegated if we keep making stupid mistakes. We haven't got the money. Yeah. Jonathan Ricketts, didn't we miss out on Haaland? Well, we wouldn't pay the money for Haaland, would we? He was in for Finch Farm. He had 3 days trial, wanted to sign. Everton wouldn't pay what was it, over $1 million for him?
Why would you, though?
Danny says, is Iwobi crap? Yes. Fair play. Jay Radcliffe says, Gray is better than Iwobi on the right, and he gets a goal. Iwobi doesn't. Okay. Dick L says, I heard you speak about Ryan Reynolds yesterday like he was some Hollywood icon, but honestly, his career amounts to Deadpool.
No, it's not. He's
amazing.
Yeah,
so
he's
there you go.
One of the biggest stars in the world, easily.
He went through his entire filmography. What about the change-up?
What about he's just one of the biggest stars in the world?
Deadpool everywhere. He's been in loads. Deadpool's massive, by the way.
Yeah.
He's been in loads. I've seen Ryan Reynolds in loads of films. And he's incredibly...
He's Van Wilder.
He's incredibly cool. Yes. All his other movies are instantly forgettable.
Are they?
I know he's a huge star, but I don't know why. Dick, hang on.
Huge star.
Didn't he like some mad vampire movie from the early 80s that no one's seen? But there you go.
He is what he is.
Lions, he says, evening lads and fellow Blues. As much as I absolutely love Goodison, it's a Victorian dinosaur. And I agree with Ped. We are now 25 years behind the rest due to the ineptness and mismanagement of the useless boards we've had. As for Iwobi and some of the others in the team, overpaid, overrated prima donnas who have everything on a plate, and I think being mediocre is acceptable. Dykes deserve to be backed, and I hope they're scared of him. Loyalty is not given. Okay. Iwobi's done all right, but like I said before, if you want to improve, if you're an Evertonian and you want to see Everton nowhere near where we've been for the last couple of seasons, then surely you will accept that Everton need better players than they currently have. We're all there bemoaning the fact that this Everton side doesn't have a lot of goals in it. You know, we're all there bemoaning. Everybody, we do this regularly. We have Premier members every day. We do videos. We get guests in. We speak to people within the game. Everybody says the same thing. We need goals. There's no goals in this Everton team. So if that is a situation, Martin, that we're in, then surely, how can you say that people who get 1 goal and 2 goals are good enough for this team? How? That because doesn't
people
equate.
Are being brainwashed.
Doesn't equate.
They've been brainwashed. So, and I hate to point fingers at people, but we have, as a fan base, we've been brainwashed to think that it's you know, I'm sorry to say this, but Bill Kenwright has destroyed this football club by brainwashing its fans to accept that where we've been in the last few years, it's acceptable. It's not acceptable.
No, you're right. Right, we've been managed down, haven't we? Right, but it's not all on Kenwright. This is Mashiri as well, because what Kenwright had got when we didn't have money, continually going, oh yeah, with this, with that. Mashiri, we had the money to get better.
Mashiri's problem, though.
We had the money to get better, and we've still made horrific decisions.
I agree. The differences are, though, Mashiri spent the money to try and get us out of the shit we were in, right? Because he didn't have a clue, because he hasn't got a clue.
We had a decent side, though, when he took over.
Because the man's thick. The man is thick.
We had a decent side.
How on earth he's a billionaire, I'll never know. The man is thick. The first thing he should have done was brought in a whole new team and said, you come in and run this football club. It's the first thing he should have done, right? You're a billionaire. I'm gonna look around and I'm gonna get the best of the best. Not essentially keep the same people in and then replace the CEO with a woman who'd run a charity. I could run that charity because it makes money, because it's got Everton in its name. It's a very profitable charity because we as fans will put our hands out and say we'll do things for that charity. So it makes money. Charities who make money are not hard to deal with. It's dead easy. We've got money. You need that. We'll do it. It's not hard. It's charities who haven't got football club attached to them who've got the issues. Go and run one of them. She had no right to run our football club. I'll always say that. She's got no right to run our football club. And Bill Kenwright's got no right to be the chairman of our football club. He destroyed it the first time round. He shouldn't have got a second chance at it. And he should have got... But he's trying to get Everton back up the mountain. I'm not saying we were on the mountain when Kent, but we were only 7 years into the Premier League. We still had it hadn't really properly took off yet. We still had a good opportunity. And that man, not only because the man's a failure, he's a failure. And what he wanted to do was say, I'm not good enough. He couldn't do that. He couldn't say I'm not good enough. What he said was, I'm good enough to keep Everton here. So if we're all happy with that, he made, while other clubs were bridging out in the rest of the world, He created this L4 ethos of we go the game, that's what we do, and all this nonsense that we all bought into. The People's Club nonsense. I bet he loved it when he probably said that to Moyes. Say we are the People's Club and they'll love you. And he kept that moniker for years, and that moniker is nonsense. It means nothing. People loved it because we had nothing else. We don't win trophies, so if we say we're...
But what I'm saying is when Mashiri come in, Everton, through the Everton side.
But the point is that...
If either just actually allow people to do... Got the right people in, allow people to do the job, we might have been way better than what we are.
I agree. I 100% agree. But the point being is the house was on fire. He had to try and rebuild the house, and what he's done is he's just thrown petrol on the same fire, and he's kept the fella at the club who set fire to the house.
No. And we know that. I know. It's my biggest thing is why he didn't bring...
But the point being is, though, you've got to look at the whole picture. He has managed, you used the word managed, he has managed the situation. He has got us to a situation that he wanted to move us.
Saying situation because someone said I said situation.
Probably. He wanted to move us out of the city. Again, so that was like, it's a fresh new start. What in somewhere that's not technically in Liverpool? Whichever way you want to look at it, it's not technically in Liverpool.
No, it's Knowsley.
So he wanted to move us out the city because it would have made it easier for him, out of sight, out of mind. And it all comes from him. And I don't care if he's 77 years of age. Shouldn't be anywhere near our football club. He's helped us. He's one of the fundamental parts of destroying the football club. People have a go. Peter Johnson won us a trophy and builds us a stand at least. This fella has done nothing, and what he's done, he's cultivated this image for himself, Uncle Bill. So people clap him when he comes on the screen. I put a second mortgage out. No, you never. You can't put second mortgages to save football clubs that are going in the Champions League, mate. Doesn't work like that. His ego, go and do Wizard of Oz. Go and do all that. Get away from our football club. He should have been legged 25 years ago. He should have let Paul Gregg run the thing at least.
Yeah, well, we'd have had the stadium if Gregg had done it. Anyway, Nick F says they should have took a gamble on younger unknown players and see if you can flip them when they became good. It's should be doing it now, Nick. It's exactly what they should be doing. Classic lyrics only says, quick question, Neil Maupay or Moise Keane? I'd have Keane.
Moise Keane.
I'd have Keane. It's not even
a real
thing. It's not even a question. Martin says Ryan Reynolds was boss in Voices.
He was bossing, I'll tell you the other one, he's bossing the Adam Project.
Oh, the Adam Project.
Brilliant.
Belter of a film.
And Free Guy. Free Guy was good as well.
The Free Guy was good.
Yeah.
The Free Guy was good.
I mean, it's not called The Free Guy. It's
no,
called
Free Guy, yeah. No, I was saying like the Free Guy film was good.
Yeah.
Martin says, spot on, Pet, the fan base has been totally brainwashed. As Everton fans, we are the club, period. We act like a championship club now. It's pathetic. Well, hopefully it'll get better. Got to, hasn't it? It's not good enough. It's not good enough, and we're in a little bit of a mad state of limbo. We are becoming like Newcastle under Ashley, where he wasn't even going to the game, so we're in a situation, but nothing's actually happening. No one's selling us anything. Everything's gone quiet. Are we getting investments or aren't we? That was supposed to be done in January, are we? Well, mind you, supposed to be getting a striker, weren't we? So we are where we are. Jonathan says, you're talking about attributes. What attributes does Mills, Price and Warrington need to do to push for the first team, in your opinion, as they might be needed if we get a transfer embargo? Well, what Price needs to do is sign a new contract, which I'm not convinced he's going to. So the guys may well walk out the door, which will be frustrating because he looks like he's got something. But Stanley Mills get a bit stronger, convince the manager. Lewis Warrington's on loan and doing well at Fleetwood, but doing well at Fleetwood. I'm not having a go with him, by the way, because he's done very, very well. But doing well in League One and playing in the Premier League, if Everton were to remain in the Premier League, is a huge jump. Lewis Warrington probably needs another loan next season, then we can consider it. If Everton are relegated, then he may well get his opportunity playing in the Championship with Everton. So that really. Dick L says, I'm not questioning his star power. Ryan Reynolds is probably the top 3 biggest stars in Hollywood, but he has no good films other than Deadpool. He literally has one good film, and it's credit to the guy who's made himself such a huge star on such a poor film.
Well, that's just not true.
That's just your choice, though, isn't it? That's just your opinion.
He's got loads of good films, but all right, none of them are The Godfather. I appreciate that, but what big stars out there do have films like that? There's only even a handful of them. You know, there's only a handful of those kind of people. You know, DiCaprio is probably is he the biggest star in Hollywood? Because he's probably the person who's been in the most amount of good films, I'd say, in the last 10 years. But Ryan Reynolds is just brilliant at what he does. And what he does is makes films that some people like. But his marketing power is...
What's the one with him? Is it The Rock and...
Red Notice.
Red Notice.
Yeah, I don't think that was good.
I like that. That was good. I enjoy watching. He's a comedic actor. I like him.
Netflix kind of film, wasn't it?
I like that. I think he was in it as well, wasn't she?
Is he the best actor?
Gal Gadot.
Is he the best actor in Hollywood? No. But
so what?
The best actors in Hollywood make films that win like Oscars and stuff, and people don't always go and see them. So you know, the film that won all the Oscars this year, I imagine out of the let's see, there are currently 579 people watching this, right? I imagine out of those 579 people, half the people have not seen the film that swept the Oscars this year.
I haven't seen it. I've got no intention of watching it. And they're probably full of tremendous actors. So, Dick, I'll be honest, until I see you presenting, you know, like a film night with Dick L, you know, then I'll have to say that's just your opinion and you're more than entitled to it. Yeah. Dick also says, did Peter Johnson win us the FA Cup? I remember Bill Kenwright being interviewed after the game saying Everton had gone too many years. Yeah. I swore he was there when we won the FA Cup. Well, he was there, but he didn't own it. Yeah. Peter Johnson owned it. Right. Last couple. Al Clark says 2 weeks ago Chelsea pre-signed Dujan Richards, 17-year-old who was playing schoolboy football in Jamaica. That's it. Charles Petrascu says Josh Cannon looks good. Do you mean Tom Cannon? But if you do mean Tom Cannon, he's doing quite well, yeah, at Preston. So there you go. John Hunter says he even has his own gin, Aviation.
But he actually sold it.
Yeah.
He actually sold it.
He also did the Hitman's Bodyguard, which was ace.
He actually sold Aviator Gin, got all the money, but they still use him and pay him for promotion.
That's how big he is.
And the same with Mint, which he's just sold, which has just been sold for $1.6 billion to T-Mobile. He owned about 25% of the shares in that.
I'll be honest, Dick, right? Everyone's entitled to opinion, and I appreciate
Considering that
everybody's opinion, right? But I don't know where you're going with it, because we never said, Ryan Reynolds, the greatest actor ever lived. We just said, he's great. Him and Rob McInerney. And Rob is brilliant. He's not the greatest actor ever, but I like him. And what we were saying was what they've done for Wrexham in terms of selling that club, PR-wise, is incredible. It's like up there with some of the best PR ever. You don't think that's disputable?
Have you watched that? Have you watched the advert yet?
No, sir. I'll give it a watch tonight, and we will talk about it tomorrow. Right, we're done. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe to Toffee TV Football, please. Just go and do it. It'll take you 4 seconds. Go and do it. Thank you very much. We will see you soon. Take care. Bye.